the Parks Board at their last meeting about the possibility of incorporating a small dog area in the dog park. There's kind of, I don't know if you guys are too familiar with it, so when you're kind of standing on Colonial Road facing the dog park, there's a part to the right that kind of bulges towards the road, and if we did a fence along there, it would make a pretty decent sized small dog area. The reason for that is we've had some dog attacks, some small dog attacks in the park. And I think that with our dog park grant for the fencing down the middle of the existing 2 fields, because we did some of the components of that project before we were fully authorized to, we had to pull those components out. And so I think we could probably add in fencing for a small dog park area into the grant to kind of take the place of what we've already done. The Parks Board was supportive of that, so I'm gonna look into it more and see if that is feasible, unless anyone has a problem with that.
Nope.
Okay? We've got some leak activity on Glennwood Drive. Rick is trying to get kind of a specialized contractor out there to see if the leak is on the township side of the curb or on the property owner's side of the curb. The weather hasn't been conducive to going out and investigating, but Rick said he's been trying to keep the property owner up to date on what's happening with that. We would like to look into getting an AED in the building and one in the trucks, one of the trucks. So we're gonna look into that a little bit more. Looking into the possibility of taking some finance classes. Wanted to check with you guys to see if you wanted to pursue the trademarking of the township seal. When I started working here, Jackie mentioned that that was something you were interested in, and I just wanted to make sure if that is something you still want pursued, I can keep that on the list and have Dave look into it.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Rental registration letters, we're just noticing that there's a lot of rentals in the township that are not registered. And at some point in the future, we may want to kind of get on top of this and notify property owners who have unregistered rentals that they need to get them registered and inspected. But it's probably going to be a big deal to some people.
Do we inspect every year for rentals?
Do you know? No, so I think just when the tenants change.
It's supposed to be when tenants change, but that
Doesn't
That's not
always
how
That would
happen.
need to change.
it is written.
They should be inspected once a year on
Once a
all
year.
rental properties.
And the problem is that we don't know who the rentals are.
Right, once we can,
I mean, I can take a guess at the
Well,
crossings
yeah.
and know most of them, but we don't have anything on file that says that they are.
But what we can do is we can go on the county website and we can click on each parcel and see if the owner has a mailing address of that property.
Right.
And if they don't, then we flag it and then send them a letter. But it's a big project.
Yeah,
It is a big
Yeah.
project.
And there's gonna be a lot of unhappy people
Yeah.
when we take that on, so,
Yeah, but look what happened in Philly.
Oh, I know.
Housing,
right?
Yeah,
no smoke detector, no inspection.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be inspected.
yeah.
Mm,
Housing authority, never happened.
okay. Well, and so,
So we might want to look at an ordinance to do.
I think there is an ordinance.
yeah, we have an
For
ordinance,
There is an
yearly?
ordinance.
although I don't know,
Rentals?
but not yearly. I
You
don't
wanna
think
do
it's
it yearly?
yearly, I think it's with the change of tenants.
Yeah,
so-
it's change of tenants and it says in the
It's
ordinance.
not, you could technically be there 10 years.
Right,
It's not,
Yeah.
I've seen it way too many times. You need to be, they need to go in there yearly and inspect them.
You gonna want fire marshal inspection on that too?
You're,
It would probably be a good idea. I know.
it'd be like a UNO inspection all over again,
Yeah.
is basically what it's gonna be.
Well, that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what it's written.
yeah, yeah.
But it,
So you don't need the fire marshal, it'll be, yeah.
So I'll circle back with you guys when we get to the point when we can
Okay.
start
Okay.
spending time on that. So following up on the basins behind the building, we have 2 basins back here that the Perkiomen Conservancy put in, and according to Steve, they didn't finish everything they were supposed to do, so I need to follow up with them. And they kind of have all new staff there, so they're not familiar, so I'm gonna have to dig out the original papers and research it and figure out kind of where it got left off.
When were they put in? Do you know, or even again?
It's been a few years,
I'm talking like 10 years?
probably at the most,
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say at the most, but maybe not. I need to follow up with a owner on Houck Road about stormwater. We had thought there's a stormwater issue that they have with water coming through their property, and we thought it might qualify for one of those low volume road grants, but it doesn't, so I just need to follow up with them. And Steve has some suggestions of things that they might be able to do to kind of alleviate their problem there, so we'll kind of try to give them some suggestions. We've scheduled the canceling of the recycling service out back. I've gotten a couple calls because we did put up signs. You know, I'm basically just telling people that, you know, the trash providers provide recycling that they can do at their house, and then the township can direct funds towards maybe shredding or electronics recycling, which could have more value. And I've just been letting people know that we've had problems with dumping and that sort of thing, so. Some building ADA deficiencies, we had an assessment done, we got a few things, he said it wasn't terrible, but a few things we could work on. We also need to talk about expansion and use of our COVID relief funds, so. Following up with Kate about hours, we just had some confusion about comp time and how things are handled in the office. The COVID policy, employee handbook, we just went over those. We've talked about following up on alternative insurance coverages, other than healthcare, just to kind of get some estimates to see if we can be getting better deals for insurance coverages. Haven't had a chance to do that, but I'll try to get to that soon. And a lot of these other things are just kind of ongoing things that we're working on, trying to improve our tracking of active permits. We have a legal case that Norm needs to provide some information on. Let's see what else. We're gonna try to install a mailbox up along the road here for the township building. Currently, you can't deliver mail here. The post office doesn't because we don't have a mailbox. So we're gonna look into getting a mailbox. So, you know, all this kind of stuff. The park board,
Wait,
Oh,
on
yeah.
the mailbox thing.
Yeah.
So right now you're doing a PO box.
Yeah.
For a mailbox.
right,
Really think about that.
That might be safer.
A PO box is safer than having the mail delivered
It's a
to.
locking box.
You know,
Yeah,
it
it's
makes
big-
a good
if you
point.
look-
Bigger than
yeah.
box.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
the
it's one of
church.
those big, yeah, just like the churches.
has,
Alright.
there's
Yeah,
just locks
Okay.
so that
Right,
they
right.
can get in it.
Right, yeah, no, it wouldn't just be like
Yeah, but
the
they
old
might-
style,
okay.
no.
All right.
Yeah, somebody put a baseball bat to it, I'm sure.
Yeah. The Parks Board did talk about updating their rules to require a collar on dogs when they're in the dog park, so that if you need to pull a dog off another dog, you gotta have something to grab onto. Our shut off notification process, I have a note here to revisit that. Seems like we shut water off pretty quickly when people are behind on their water payments, but we'll look into that a little bit more and I'll get you something to see if you think we should adjust it. The Township Sign, I'll be shifting gears soon to work on trying to move that forward. I know you guys wanted to get a new sign out here, so I'll,
I know Steve was working on it too, he had, at one point,
yeah, so, right, so we.
he has the email from, and the quote from Stewart,
Mhm.
Florida.
Yep.
They did a lot of the signs in the area.
Okay, yeah, and he pointed out another township that had a nice sign and, yeah, so,
Yeah, there's
Yep.
several companies.
yeah, exactly, and they're all part of CoStars, so
Yeah.
that'll make it simple, relatively simple.
I didn't realize that, they're part of others too.
Yeah.
They did not know that.
We did have an assessment done on the playground and the fitness equipment over here. It's generally in pretty good shape. Some adjustments, Steve and the guys did some repairs, some minor repairs, and we recently ordered some new baby swing seats because they have some issues. But the guy who did the assessment, he did indicate that our bigger play structure here is pretty dated and you can't really get replacement parts for it
Normally
anymore.
they're only good for 10 years.
Yeah, and I think, yeah,
That's over.
so it's
Yeah.
over 10 years.
Anybody
Right.
that does
So we're-
playground inspections.
so
will
we're
tell
down-
you
yeah,
they're
we're
only
down
good
to
for
duct
10 years.
tape.
Yeah, this came up like 3-4 years ago. I first became
Yeah.
Supervisor about
So, yeah, so the Parks Board,
upgrading the
yeah,
playground, but it's
Right.
just,
right.
money wasn't there.
Right, so, the Parks Board asked me to look into, possible grants, but I think also we could, if we wanted to, use some of the rescue funds, for that as well. We need to update our emergency operation plan, so I need to coordinate with Barbara Landis on that. We had talked about doing a newsletter in 2022, so we'll continue to look into that. Maybe we can try to shoot for the spring for one. The building expansion. So I put before you a flyer that we just got about the American Rescue Plan funding for townships. And it seems pretty clear now that we can definitely use those funds to construct a bigger meeting room so that we can meet our social distancing requirements. So, you know, we'll circle back to this once I get through some of these other things on the list, but I think we probably need to start, you know, kind of developing a plan of action for moving forward with that,
Yeah.
so that we can.
Can any of these funds be used to expand the property?
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, we could probably look into that as well.
What about back and over here?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you know, we have funds that are set aside for the building expansion. This has actually been
Yeah.
contemplated for years and years and
Yeah.
years. So we can also, you know, shift those, you know, to the building expansion and then, yeah, use this for other stuff, so, yeah. So we'll definitely wanna have another meeting where we kinda dig into that stuff a little bit more and that sort of thing. Let's see, sorry for the long list, but it's kinda helpful to go through all this with you guys. Once our new treasurer gets up to speed, we're gonna look at, doing some water sewer billing upgrades, try to improve that, because right now we read quarterly, but then back bill for 3 months, so we're gonna try to get on a monthly schedule for that. What else, if there's anything else? New website options, so you guys have mentioned this previously. It would be helpful if you could let me know specific issues you have with our website currently, so that we can determine if it's stuff that we can fix kind of quick and easy with our current company, or if we really do need to look for a new company to do it. The company that we have currently did contact me recently, because I had said, well, we may need a redesign of what we've got.
Right.
And she says, well, we'll give you a deal on that, but I don't know what that deal means, or looks
Yeah,
like.
right. I think part of the
Yeah.
issue that we had with the website was how much they were charging us for it.
Yeah, I think so, that was part of it too. Right, and I did actually reach out to her, because they acquired another company that seemed to have lower rates, and I asked her about it, and I don't know that I got a clear answer.
Okay.
So again, we'll come back to that. So those are kind of just an overview of the various things that we kind of have in the works, so we're just kind of trying to
You're busy.
plug through
What do you do
them.
the rest of the day?
I know,
They did,
right?
You're
Yeah,
busy.
It's
let me
good
ask you this.
though.
What are your priorities in that list?
in the list?
Yeah, you don't need to tell me what,
Yeah, no,
what I'm
no.
just saying is
So,
prioritize.
right.
We don't need to go
Well,
through it, it's
no,
fine.
exactly. But the things on your agenda for next week
Yeah.
are like 5 or 6 of these things, right? So those are the priorities in my mind at this point. Getting back focused on the dog park grant, because
Yeah.
we've got some time limitations on that, because we got that grant, we were awarded that grant in 2019. So I need to like hurry up and get everything satisfied so we can move forward with that one. And then I think the building expansion, I think we need to really have a conversation about how to use these rescue funds and start kind of mapping out how we wanna do that, because I think we've gotta commit them in the next like 2 or 3 years and spend them, I think, by 2026. So if we're
Okay.
doing a construction project, that's a big deal. So time will go quick, and we haven't even designed it, so, okay?
Yeah, there's prints around somewhere.
There's very rough sketches.
Really rough sketch print of adding on that way, I believe,
Yes,
somewhere.
yeah.
if I remember.
I've got it already refigured
Yeah.
up here. It's all worked out up
It's
here.
all worked out up here.
I'm waiting for the graph.
Start
paper.
drawing.
I know, right?
Come out. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's about it.
Okay. Anything else? I'm gonna go into announcements. You good?
I'm good.
Good?
You all good?
Yeah. Assisted recycling will be Friday, February 25th, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Recycling to be canceled as of February 28th, 2022. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Now it's all one sign. I've already seen it.
I curate the art show. I'm planning to do one in 2023. I'm gonna invite you to see if you have any pieces you wanna put in it.
Google,
Are they for sale?
email.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my apartment is filling up. Because I don't sell them, and this is what's my hobby besides my
Because
sales.
Your granddaughter, well, where does she live?
My granddaughter is down in
Wasn't receiving
So
email.
that's on the other side of nowhere.
It's
That's
in Philly.
It's in Philly.
It's near
Sucked all
Roxborough,
my
I think.
They're different.
Oh.
No, they're the same.
They're both Gmails?
Gmails.
See,
And it took over.
See, I have separate.
And I'm like,
Driving through
and Dan's
Andorra,
like,
there's
"Well,
a monument
She says, go to another.
that says, this is the birthplace of
Right.
Mark
Yeah, I
Twain."
said,
I'm sure it is.
But it's been
It's a
years
very
since I had
popular
those.
tourist
But
destination.
now I'm getting stuff
Almost
on
as popular as
Facebook
Rocky.
and everything.
Oh,
no.
I'm sure
There's
people
too
just
many
go up the
delete.
steps
Yeah,
and
don't
get their
get that.
picture taken at your monument.